Just a
Ho,
lot of.
ho, ho, Merry mother in Christmas. The fraud department is back from our holiday break, and we got some shit to talk about.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the fraud department.
What's up?
I'm
What's up?
Danielle.
And I'm Princess.
Yes, we are so excited today to have a guest with us on here to talk about things and give her insights and inputs. And
Yes, I'm super excited.
yes, I'm currently in Michigan recording. Aiden is in Atlanta, and tell everybody where you're from in these
Let
neighborhoods.
me let me say this. So for anybody that's watching, I'm not from Atlanta, by the way. So I
Oh,
really didn't
yes.
do like a whole introduction for myself. Let me do an introduction.
Yeah, we dropped the ball. We dropped.
So I'm from Dallas, Texas, but I live in Houston. So I'm a Texas native, born and raised. So yeah.
Shouts out.
Anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself?
Um I'm always evolving. So, as of right now, this is my first time ever being on a podcast. So, I'm really excited. I think I just want everybody to remember self love. And that's all I really have about myself as of right now.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
so,
we'll expose some more later, but we're really happy to have you and the contribution that you uh will be bringing this evening. All right, well, welcome, Princess. Aiden, you want to start talking about? I think the fraud
A
department
lot of shit
HQ
going on. A lot of shit
is
going on.
currently under siege.
Yep, it's just a lot of shit in the air. I don't know. Everybody just got it out for each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's really the kids, which is the saddest part. So it's
Hmm.
like where are we headed if this is the standard, you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, they was outside shooting, you know what I'm saying? Hundreds of kids just running around. Fireworks too. That was the thing. It was like a false alarm apparently outside of, you know what I'm saying, outside the building. And
Yeah,
the police
for those of
responded,
you, yeah, for those
but
of you who don't know, the fraud department HQ is located in what I like to call New Atlantis, in Atlanta, Georgia, in a area called Atlantic Station, in a lovely building called the Atlantic. So, and within that area, it's a large area, touristy attraction with shopping and all the things. And so we have gotten reports that they're out there kidnapped.
yeah, this is not the first time. But this happened in early December, I think early late November too. I was walking around. I wasn't walking around, but I saw people walking around, and then I heard some shots, and everybody just started fleeing. Just all you heard
So,
was just like girls screaming. I'm just like, what's going on? And it took about like 5 minutes for APD to show up,
so these are
but
open, these
nobody
are
got hit
like,
apparently. It's
these
like,
are
so
what are
I
open
they
to
shooting
active
at?
shooters.
I think I saw a video of that and it just showed like a bunch of kids all around, in front of what looked like some stores or something like that.
Yeah,
And it just, I mean, going by there, like, I would think, are y'all protesting? What are you doing? Like, and
right.
I couldn't tell from the video, like, what the age group of the kids were. Like, I didn't know, were these high school kids, college? Like, who,
I
what?
mean, this particular area does draw, especially on the weekends, it does draw quite a bit of the younger crowd. It is like I said, it's a tourist attraction, it's a mall, there's stores, there's like Dillard's, there's everything from Dillard's to Target to Publix, like all they have like a screen where they show movies. It's a real, it's a there's right now during the winter time, there's an ice skating rink. So they may have been there visiting the ice skating rink. There's also a bowling alley and a movie theater. So it is a place, and although it's technically what you would consider a high-end location as far as housing, it's a mixed use location with all these restaurants, and then there's this is where there's also residential condominiums all around and throughout.
Yeah.
So it is a high end place as far as income goes,
But
but
it's very accessible.
geographically, it is situated in the city of Atlanta, kind of what they call West Midtown, but it's directly adjacent to the West Side. Now, and I'm not saying that all these kids are coming from the West Side, like Bankhead and some of those territories, but it's just that's where it's situated. It's in the city, and it's there's not there's no real division between.
Yes, totally.
So that being said, today, as of the date of this recording, it is I think the 28th of December. We just got finished with the Christmas season, the Ho Hoax of Christmas, and that shabaklery that goes on every year. Part of part of today's podcast will include a channeled message, something that has been just kind of, and when I say a channeled message, it's something that continuously keeps hitting my brain and says, you need to say this. You need to say this. But we're gonna call it a channeled message from Jesus. And basically, I just want to say on behalf of my fellow ascended master, Jesus, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him, or what he wants to say coming through, is that y'all really need to stop playing in my face. Um, More and more, as the planet, the culture, the US, the economy, whatever it is that's blowing up for you right now, a lot of people are going through a lot of things. People in their true colors are really, really coming out. People are finding it more and more difficult to maintain that face, and the hatred, the evil, the just negative energy is just pouring out from the masses, or at least from the NPCs. So what Jesus has to say today is, please stop playing in my face. Y'all need to go dig those bracelets out of the drawer, the WWJD bracelets. What would Jesus do bracelets? Because the things that are happening, the posts that I'm seeing on social media, being done in the name of Jesus or in the name of Christianity, it's like Christians are really, really giving Jesus a bad name these days. They're really not behaving themselves in a way that is patterned after the way that Jesus behaved. So another message is to stop name dropping Jesus in y'all's foolery. And I woke up this morning to this post, and you can read it for yourselves. Yeah, when it goes into something about the Jews and Satan taking over this and that, and so it's clearly a rant, type of post. And then what it goes on to do is it calls out one of Atlanta's one of the, I guess, the mega church pastors, Pastor Jamal Bryant, basically calls out his wife, Pastor Jamal Bryant, come get your whorish looking wife, and both of y'all go sit down somewhere. And then he has the audacity to say, in Jesus' name, amen. Okay. So first of all, I think Mrs. Bryant looks
A
lovely. It's a
shame.
lovely
A
dress.
shame.
I'm sure that she is. I mean, this is not skin exposed here. If you know anything about fashion, you know that this is fabric. Her whole body is not showing. I'm sure this was not Sunday morning service. She looks like she's going to some fancy event of some kind. So what do you think? I know, Princess, you are someone that still attends church. I know you're very on the spiritual side, but you also still partake in the religious uh oh, why did I lose the word? Just the
Congregation.
yeah, the congregation, the fellowship, the practice of going to church on Sunday morning. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so I would love to expound on that. So basically, for me, I think I have a very unique situation. I was brought up in church, so my faith has been deeply rooted all the way since childhood. Since I could remember, I've always had a great relationship with God. And so, one of the main reasons, just to answer that question, is going to be because I've had that background, and I know that it's also played a part in who I am today. So me going to church, my parents, well, my mother had us, in church even on Wednesday night and on Sundays. And so I also just have a lot of memories, friendships that I've had with church members, long-standing friendships that I still have existing. I just may not talk to everyone. And so church has been beneficial for me. I was never abused in church. There was drama, of course, but I mean, it is what it is. You can have drama anywhere. But as far as like drama that I've been involved in personally, no, I haven't. But that may be because of my personality. And I've just had really great relationships, even with the elders, the deacons there. I grew up in Church of Christ, which is something different from like what I go to now. Like I attend church services
Church
more.
of Christ, is that the Kojics, Church of God in Christ, or is that something
No,
different?
it's not the Church of God in Christ. It's
Okay.
something different from that. It's just it's supposed to be non-denominational. And
Okay.
so basically some of the we believe in Jesus Christ, of course, the death, burial, resurrection. That's kind of like what we're in, and they call, and it's called Church of Christ because they wanted to make sure that the name was in Christ. It wasn't in anybody else, solely in Christ. And their belief is kind of based predominantly on the Newer Testament instead of the Old Testament. So there you will find at this typical church there's no usage of instruments. So during worship service, we don't have any type
It's
of
all a cappella.
all a cappella. Correct.
Okay.
And so that was completely different for me growing up. I would say I didn't really want to invite people more so to church at the time, even though I did because I was just happy about God in general. And I just wanted to share that with my friends. But I thought it was different that my other friends that I may have had, growing up, or even family members, they are Baptists or, of another denomination. I had a friend,
I grew up Baptist.
yes, a Seventh Day Adventist or
Mm.
something like that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct, but she was that, and they
I
would go.
should have been Seventh-day Adventist because come Saturday,
Why is
Saturday
that?
is definitely my personal Sabbath. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have a lot of energy on Sunday to get up and do things, but come Saturday, child, I just don't even want to see it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, totally. So, that's kind of how I grew up in church, and like I said, it's really built such a phenomenal foundation for me.
mhm,
I'm very grateful for the experience. Like I said, I had a different experience from other people, so some people may have a different experience.
mhm.
I don't go to that church anymore because I just grew up, and I love everybody that goes to the church. If anybody ever ends up seeing this,
Disclaimer.
tea
It's
though,
all love. It's all
No
tea,
shade,
love.
no shade, no
no
tea, but
shade, no shade. But real tea though, it's been a thing. Like it's actually something that my parents, they're like, you need to come to church with us because I'm gonna be frank. I think it's because of the image. Like, oh, I gotta show that my family's together still and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, but I don't go to this church, and I don't care to go and attend church with people who I think contradict the whole belief system of what you even raised me in the first place. And also,
so
another
you
reason
found a lot of contradictions
I
within
did, and I
the
found
church.
so like I said, I didn't have drama, but the characteristics of some of the people that went to that church that I was able to see, and I'm the type of person where if you treat other people that way, I'm really gonna assume.
Mhm.
At this point, I don't even know what you're gonna do to me.
Right.
I'm not around.
That's and it's interesting you say that because I remember growing up, I have some cousins who are one of my uncles married a woman who was Cambodian. And so my cousins are half black, half Cambodian, and they were raised primarily a Buddhist. And so I just remember when I was growing up and thinking to myself, who do I want to be like? what do I, which way do I want to go? Which path do I want to follow? And I can just remember thinking to myself, when I thought about my cousins, when I thought about other people who walk that Buddhist path, and we'll get to talking about our friend the monks here in a minute. But the people who walk that Buddhist path, they're always very in control of themselves, in control of their emotions. They're
Right.
not really, they're not vindictive. They're not, they like just and when I looked at those members and I'll say the same thing. I'll live the Shiloh Baptist Church, 3565 9th
The
Avenue. I love
oldest
y'all
church west
all.
of the
I love y'all
Mississippi.
all to death throughout all space and time. However, growing up, if I looked around, I couldn't find not one person in that church that I could say, "Hey, I want to be like them,"
Right.
or "Hey, this is who I want to be." And so that was problematic for
Yeah.
me growing up.
I think that's something when so I another thing that caused me not to go to church anymore as well, because I really don't go as often. Like I literally just started like 2 weeks ago.
You just happen to start going back for this
Yeah, I
episode.
just so happened to before this happened. Okay. But listen, and I'm not ashamed to say it at all because that's how comfortable I am in my authenticity and who I am in my walk with God. So basically another thing was that I had a different idea of how my love relationship was with God. Church honestly caused me to have anxiety at some point. Like
Mm.
I had a fear. I was like, oh my God,
I
I
would
had sex.
totally agree.
So I'm gonna be blunt. I was like, oh my God, I
You
had
had
sex
both.
before
Well, we'll
marriage.
get to you in a minute, Aiden. Go ahead.
I had sex before marriage, so that means that this is why I'm not married yet. Like just dumb shit. Like, like just stuff that is like,
It had you in a low vibrational frequency of
yeah,
fear,
fear
and
instead of
you were in
comfort.
fear. Yeah.
Instead of comfort with God. And so there was something that happened in my life about 3 years ago to where I ended up having to walk alone. I had people betray me, talk about me, steal from me, try to basically trick me out of my spot, out of everything that I worked hard for. And oftentimes I feel like people look at me and assume, okay, she's this type of woman, she carries herself well, so clearly she has never gone through anything or never will. And they're sadly mistaken because I'm human just like everybody else. Y'all excuse my alarm in the background. It's ghetto.
Girl, you get that battery shake. I was gonna say
Don't
that.
judge me. I'm gonna tell maintenance. I'm gonna tell maintenance about it later. Don't judge. Don't judge. Okay, y'all mind your business. Okay, mind your business. Anyways,
No judgment here.
no. So basically I had all these I had lost everything. Kind of similar to, some of the Bible stories that you've heard in the Bible. I had family issues, just a number of different things, and so that experience caused me to have to walk by myself. And that I learned very quickly, because I was also raised that if you don't go to church, then it can cause for your life to be in destruction and you're just gonna fail in life and all this other stuff. So I had fear of that. I wasn't tithing like how I was, trained to do. So I was like, I don't know how these blessings or how I'm gonna turn
Programmed.
my life around. And when I tell you, people, I'm still dealing with this to this day. Like people made fun of me. I had people wanting to fight me, set me up,
At the church?
dump me. No, family
From the
members.
church?
No,
Oh,
this is
family
not,
members.
like I said, it's not from the church. No, no, no. I think some of the
Family
church
members.
members, they might have been talking about me, but that's intuitively. That's a whole nother different. That's nothing that I could like completely confirm. And so I didn't put any further thought into it. That's just intuitively. But I know my family members did. They made a comment. I had lost weight. Like I was thicker before, and it was just, Lord, don't get the Black community started on weight. Anyways, so it was just like, I was like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? So that experience, I didn't go to church. And during that time, I had my own form of worship that I did, and my own routines and rituals that I didn't know were rituals until I learned more about it because I grew up to think that rituals were something that was negative and demonic. And so it was a lot of things that God was naturally putting in me.
But
And
that's the thing, a lot of people don't realize just the act of going, that was the word I couldn't remember earlier, was the rituals of church. Like people don't realize that just the going to church, all the things, the communions, all those things are rituals.
they are, and they don't look at it. They'll claim that like spirituality is demonic because we do use the word ritual instead.
Because we're honest about what it is.
Right. And then they'll even, now I don't have an altar, but there are some people who do have an altar, but they'll get mad and say that that's demonic, but there's an altar at church. We're giving offerings. Even some of the words that are in gospel music is, condescending within itself almost. And we all know that words are.
Let's go.
I'm sorry. Am I getting off topic?
No, you're not.
No, you're right on topic.
There is no off topic at the fraud department. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Okay. So
speak on it.
You know what? The alarm might be a good idea for the fraud department. I like that because wake them up. Wake them. Okay. But anyways, so basically, and I curse too, you guys. I'm like Peter in the Bible. Okay, me and Jesus, we cool, but he's still working on me. But anywho, so basically, dang, where was I going with that? I'm sorry, y'all.
A lot of the music you said that was condescending. Type of words they use.
Because it's like, I was thinking to myself, like, how am I supposed to be born perfect in his image? But I'm just a lowly sinner who still needs to strive to be perfect. But the Lord knows that I'm not perfect. And all I got to do is just ask him for forgiveness. And I can just.
It's very confusing. It seems like a loop that you never get out of. There's never any ascension past that.
Man.
And that's where the anxiety comes in, because if you're really tapped in, you know there has to be something more. And it's like, I feel bad for wanting to leave or get out of this system, because it's a system. It's a mental.
Right. And some of us, I feel like I'm the black sheep in my family, because I'm sure they all think I'm demonic at this point. But I know
the black goat. We prefer the term black goat.
Black goat. The black goat.
The black goat is what I should be called. But like, it's deeply rooted into the family. And that goes all the way back to the slavery mentality. If they can get it control over the man and the woman, they can teach it to their children. That's why it's in the Bible, because they throw it in my face all the time. Children, don't disobey your parents. Okay, well, don't provoke me. Yeah. But it's just like it's deeply rooted, and it takes a lot of strength for me to step out on faith. And I think that I'm super proud of myself for doing something different, because and like your book says, something about the understanding won't fall to deaf ears or something on the side of your book, on the inside or something like that. Or not everybody's willing to understand. And so lately what I've been doing is keeping my mouth closed at this time when it comes to, my religious practices and, my faith and stuff, because I don't have time to argue with people. Okay. Damn if I do, damn if I don't.
Yeah.
It's not productive.
I mean, a lot of people are not, being
they're not asking to listen. They're asking to judge.
Being open to truth means also being open to disappointment, and learning the truth, and the truth. If you are learning the truth, that probably means that you've been lied to and that you've believed something that's contrary to the truth for a long time. So
and your ability to disassociate, detach, and or reprogram yourself, that is the test of how fast you can kind of move through this matrix without bumping your head too many times.
Now so the princess grew up in the church and also had family family aggression also beating into her, the things that they're preaching. Aiden, talk about your experience and why you felt pressure in the church, because I know that I never forced you to go, and I never, hung your eternal soul on anything going on at the church.
No, I think I actually came to you one time and I was like, Mom, you're going to hell. That's what they said in Bible study. I said something like, Like, cause I said, I forgot it was what it was. I don't know if it was about cursing or lying or something that you were doing that wasn't in accordance or not believing, not having faith, being stressed, like being stressed was sinful. Like it was
Oh,
like,
you tell your mommy not to be stressed.
yeah, it was interesting, but no, I don't think it had anything to do with you. It was more so just the messaging itself, like sitting
Mhm.
in, like actually paying attention in sermon. Because that's the thing. Like as an usher, it's like I'm standing up the whole time. So whenever you stand up, when you're receiving messaging or teaching and learning something, your brain's gonna take it in more. I wasn't sitting down and sleeping in church like most people throughout that period. So for me, it was
You was
like,
on the usher board. You was holding up
yeah,
the bloodstained banner.
we was fighting. So
What
you know,
church?
Yes.
What church? I'm sorry. Catch me up. What church? Like, how did it start? Like, did you go to church as a kid, or were you
I
raised?
remember, I
You
remember.
said
So
go
all
that
my
you.
memories of church in Georgia up until like 5 years old was we went to
That's
some
big in
mega church.
Georgia, isn't it? Like, church is a big thing in
Yeah,
Georgia.
No, so he didn't really go to church that much in Georgia. I moved him back to California when he was between 5 and 6. And
Oh,
at
okay.
that time, we started going back to the church that I was raised in.
right.
And I was asked to one of the ladies that was like a grandmother to me, helped raise me. She got ill. And so then I was asked to take over supervising the junior and youth usher board. And
Mhm.
so I agreed, and that's when I started going back to church to take over that responsibility. So he was on the usher board with me. So that's why he's saying that he was always standing up,
Gotcha.
hearing these messages and hearing things or whatever. But
Right.
yes, the Shiloh Baptist Church, Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church in Sacramento,
Home of Dr.
California. It
Cornell
is
West.
the yeah, home of Dr. Cornell West. It is the oldest Black Baptist church west of the Mississippi. And I am proud to say, and I did want to piggyback on something you said at the very beginning, is that there are some, now I do occasionally go back to church. Usually scheduling doesn't permit, I'm just not there on Sunday mornings whenever I do go back home. But there is an organization, the National United Church Ushers Association of America, Incorporated, now celebrating 105 years in existence. I grew up in this organization. This organization, in addition to my church home, my church family, has made me, I'll say, a lot of who I am in the matrix. So, for example, going to attending these conventions and things like that made me, and I can run a board meeting because I know and understand Robert's Rules of Order. And I can take minutes because I was taught how to, as the corresponding secretary, the recording secretary, I learned, they taught us all these things. And another thing that it taught, not for nothing else, sometimes we look to the church to be something greater than society, but what it taught me and showed me were a lot of things in society, that the church was just like what was going on the inside, was just like on the outside. So it did teach me in some ways how to deal with and how to address certain things and conflicts and things of that nature. So I did want to concur with you on the what you said about it making you who you are, to a certain degree. Um, as far as teaching me a lot of actual life skills and thing. And I think that was one of the big things that the Black church was really about coming up, was teaching us the things we needed to know, and somewhere we've gotten off track. The other thing I wanted to just quickly mention, oh no, you weren't finished, Aiden. I wanted you to finish about your experience
Yeah, it was just more so some of the
before I move on.
messaging was very, I felt, like you said, counterintuitive to what you would expect from a person to grow and flourish. It seemed like this always fear-based mentality that you're stuck in. And it just I could see how
How?
it's very stress inducing. You know what I mean? And so I feel this need to come back and, contribute because you're a problem. And regardless of, the cycles that you may go through, it feels like there's a lot of, especially more so from the people around, the community that's created. The message itself is usually used in ways to create to create all these stipulations and,
Mm-hmm.
scenarios
Yeah.
that are It's just not
And
favorable for people like us, like black goats.
what age did you realize that? Like, how
I
old
would
were you?
say I would say like that 8, 7, 8, 9, like right before we stopped going. I wouldn't say realized 100%, but I was definitely like, Whenever
Side
we
eye.
didn't go, I felt better when we weren't going. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? For a little bit. So it was
Gotcha.
kind of weird. And it's
Now,
usually
and as
hindsight.
far as and to comment on that part of what you're saying, as far as the feeling better or not feeling better, you know, a lot of people will say that, oh, when I go to church, I feel the spirit, I feel this, I feel better when I leave. So what's happening for a lot of people, and I too will admit that sometimes, occasionally, I like to go to church. I like to go to the Pentecostal church because they cut up real good, and they and that's the thing. That's the clapping, the dancing, the singing, all of these things. Although you're in a low vibrational frequency, you're being taught low vibrational things. All those things are
They're
high
using
vibrational
tools.
activities.
Yeah, they're using
So they're
tools.
using these
So
tools.
at a church like that, with what I grew up in, they would have escorted you on out
Mhm.
to check on you to see if you were okay. Because
Not to check on you.
to come have a come to Jesus.
I've always wanted to check on the people that come into church and they be falling out. I've always felt like the people that do the falling out, they just
The
exercise
falling
the
out,
demon.
girl. So
Um,
do you think that they really like? Do you think that that's real, or are you saying like,
I think there's real demons coming up out of them. I don't think
okay,
that
but
it's like, oh, I've got the Holy Spirit in me and I just can't. No.
so you think that that's all extra?
No, I don't think it's extra. I think it's demons coming out of them. Just
But I
like
mean,
there's life.
like them falling out though. Like, is that something that like you feel like is extra to you?
The actual falling down on the ground. I mean, it kind of depends on the circumstance. I think that some people, because as someone who's been on the usher board, I've seen people kind of out cold, kind of,
Really?
work them. Anybody can work themselves up into a tizzy. I used to go work myself up into hysterical crying when I wanted to get out of stuff, as a kid, trying to fake the funk in
Yeah.
in some way. I mean, I'm just saying.
If I need to lie about something, call you and give you a call.
Yeah, that's why you think we opened up the fraud department? We don't open up the fraud department because we're not familiar with fraud. Now, come on now.
Specialists.
But anyway,
You
around
say
for eons and eons. My soul is ancient. Okay, I done been here, did all the things, experienced all the things. And speaking of fraud, here the other part of the channel message from Jesus is that my birthday is not December 25th. It is June 26th. My name is Yeshua, and it is June 26th. The person that you all celebrate uh, on December 25th is the biblical character known as Nimrod. Okay. And Nimrod,
never heard of that. I've never
I'm
heard
Do
of
we need
gonna
to pull up the screen? Do
I'm
we need
gonna
to pull
let
up the
y'all
screen?
read up on Nimrod, but I did have a page. So the fraud department, I did go to. I like to do we like to study things and we like to go places and get the real to the real on certain things. But this is the pool of Abraham. This is located in Shanliurfa, Turkey. It's right not too far from the Iraq border, but this is supposedly where Nimrod through Abraham.
Look,
I wanted it to play. So anyway, so yeah, so this was a trip to Turkey where we saw that. And as we know, Nimrod is how do I mute the video? Here we go. Sorry. Nimrod is these are like some ancient biblical lands here that we were just exploring.
on a Wednesday
Um
afternoon, just,
Yeah,
chilling out.
just out exploring biblical geography and peeping ancient biblical scenery. But as we know now, the term Nimrod is a term for a fool, for someone who
it.
is is not wise, not somebody you want to be like.
The power of
um
language, the power of
They
language. They
gotta
twisted it.
celebrate this. It's on the internet.
It's
Hear
on
me
the
out.
internet. It's all on the
It's
internet.
on
That's
the
the thing people
internet.
don't want to talk about.
what's on the
If y'all
internet?
didn't know that, comment. because am I the only person? Or
It's okay
Didn't
to not
know
know it.
Nimrod's birthday was December 25th?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the fraud. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. This is the fraud department. This is why we're here. Yeah, no, Christmas it has nothing to do with Jesus. It's all about selling. Even the word Christ mass. Like if you look at the word Christmas, you've got Christ. They tried to put Christ in it, but the word mass, M-A-S or mas, is the Spanish word for more. For more. I want to acquire more. I want to get more. Mas in Spanish is supposed to mean, attaining a higher level, as in consciousness or understanding and things like that. But they turned it into more of a mas, as in more quantity and more things. So and then the final part of the downloaded message is that yes, I was Black and not like Middle Eastern mixed. I was Black. And this is also part of, am I still sharing screen?
You're good.
Yeah, so this was also part of the trip to Turkey. We went to a museum called the Hagia Sophia Museum. And what Hagia Sophia means is holy wisdom. Good job. Good job there. But and this is ancient Russian artwork.
He looked
So
like he was looking right
the
at you in that
Russians,
picture.
yeah, this is like the Black Madonna. But the Russians, the Russians have always been very autonomous. They're not really out trying to colonize anybody but
Looking
the
like
Ukraine.
me.
So
Look at them
right,
locks.
this is right here, Jesus with the locks, like not Jesus with the good hair, Jesus with the
Becky with the
locks,
good hair.
and yeah,
They done twisted it all up
so
on
yeah,
us.
so all these pictures, Jesus and them, Jesus and his disciples, all of them, all these people, it was all Negro. All right, so
Now that we got that
and
out
then
the
you have
way.
some additional art, and then you can see here, this is how they depicted white people. So there's no discrepancy between, there's no trying to say, oh, they didn't have the right paint color, or oh, the portrait got, I don't know, darkened or something.
They'll
No,
come up
they
with
were painting
anything.
Negroes, and then here they're painting white people. So there's that. But anyway, it was a great time. I really, it was a really pleasant surprise walking up on this museum. I just happened to be on a pilgrimage that started in Istanbul, Turkey, and continued on to some places. And yeah,
Wait, you
so
said
the
Vladimir
fraud
didn't confirmed it
department is
too?
always on location. You said what now, Bubba?
Vladimir confirmed it too?
Yes, Vladimir Putin, oh, that's what I was getting ready to say. The Russians have always been fairly autonomous. They don't really care what other people say. They're not really trying to fake the funk per se. They're just pretty straight up. So I'm going to go with Mother Russia and their what I deem to believe their accurate portrayal of Jesus and them and all his people back in the day. So um yeah. Any thoughts on that, Princess? Black Jesus?
We rocking with the Black Jesus?
I'm definitely rocking with Black Jesus. I think that was another thing that contributed to my spiritual deferment from what I was like raised in. So I do agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
Disney
But
had
I
a
still
Black
go,
Santa Claus this year. Shout out
yeah.
Disney.
So just to, and I celebrated Christmas, but by myself. So I was happy with that because I kind of just think that it's another day. Not that it's not a good holiday or anything, or that I hate it or have any trauma behind it.
Yeah. The whole point is that it's a scam. Like even when you look at the word Santa, it's the same letters as the word Satan. It's not, it has nothing to do with Jesus. Even
Yes.
the color red, even using red is the lowest vibrational color frequency. Like when you're emitting red, it's anger. It's not, it's
I still just to wrap up what I was saying though, I still attend church. I attended recently because of, just me needing that extra motivation. And it's funny because last week he talked about a manifestation. And this week, today, he even mentioned something about the spiritual realm, which I thought was so crazy to me because I'm like, I've never in all of my years of being raised in church, even me going to Baptist churches, because it's not the only Baptist church I've ever been to. Um, I've never heard any pastor, leader, anybody mention anything about manifestation without it being deemed as something demonic, but he literally tied it into scripture.
It sounds like he's actually preaching and teaching what Jesus was actually preaching and teaching.
Yeah, and I think what he's doing, I wouldn't say that
Mhm.
it's fraud that he's doing. I think that a lot of people, I always say this, a lot of people don't comprehend. They can hear, but they can't comprehend. Okay. That doesn't mean that you
It's
listen.
against the program. It goes against
It
the
is.
normal
But he's
programming.
one thing I like about him is that he's slick throwing it in there. Like without, because like
It has to be
today,
slick.
yeah, like if this was somebody who's like, if y'all are really paying attention, him even saying, like he was trying to say, he didn't say anything about reaching up to the kingdom of God. He was basically saying, as above is below. Like what you have inside is going to be outside. You're pulling your manifestations in. That faith is what
Yeah.
allows you to pull from the higher
So
realm.
he's teaching the hermetic principles. And so these are and I'm hoping to see, like there was another church that I found, I can't remember the name of it now, but a while back ago I used to occasionally go to this one church here in north of Atlanta somewhere. But the reason I like them is because instead of like a Wednesday night Bible study, it had a Wednesday night meditation service, and they had like this on New Year's, instead of like this
Alternative
watch night, like
rituals.
I don't know what we watching for, but they would have the burning bowl ceremony where we would write down the things you want to release from the year, and you would burn it. So the rituals that were actually raising our vibrations, actually manifesting something, not the lies and programming of the religious industry, because that's the thing. It's like there's this
Industry.
meshing. Yeah, it's an industry.
Expound on
And
that.
unfortunately, yeah, it's an industry, it's a business. Um
It's a network.
it's a network. It's a matrix. The
Yeah.
the matrix of religion, runs really, really deep
It's like a
within
web.
our society. And unfortunately, so you do have some people, a lot of people don't realize that, and the matrix of religion is fraud. And a lot of people don't realize that. So you have a lot of people who are more spiritually inclined that go towards the church, thinking or feeling or believing that they're going to get something and then when they get there, they're oftentimes disappointed or don't get what it is that they feel like they're going to get. The church is really one of the lowest vibrational places on the planet, because usually when people do go to the church, they are going in a low vibrational state. Like they're down, they're out, they've been through it. And they're going there, they're seeking refuge, they're seeking some sort of like I used to say all the time, if I had a church, I don't want to see you every week. Come and hang out, come get you a refill when you need a refill, raise your vibrations. But that coming every week, that creates a codependence where you're not
No, look
actually.
at it as fellowship, where you're
um,
joined with like-minded
there are
people.
there are ways to fellowship and ways to have community and groups and to do things,
True.
but people don't often come with the idea that they're going. Now kids, or when I was a kid, that's all I want to do is fellowship. I couldn't wait. I was the only child, I ain't had
Right.
nobody, so going to church was like I got to see my friends, and that's
Yeah.
all I wanted to do was fellowship. But some people think that going to church is what's going to save there's going to create some
Yes.
sort of
Especially when
salvation.
they start doing the assigned seats, reserved seats. I'm like, what do y'all think this is? Yeah, I saw that. Like it was at a church here in Houston, and it's very popular. It's Lighthouse Church, and
Okay.
Pastor Keon Henderson, I think is his name, and his wife is
So
Shawnee.
this like Southwest, you have to pay for your seat, or like.
Girl,
I mean, I'm just asking.
But I was thinking
On
maybe
your
because
flight to
of his
salvation,
wife,
like I don't know, like what I don't know. Okay, go
maybe
ahead. I'm sorry.
because of his wife, and they've had celebrity guests there, maybe, and they have people coming
Spirit.
in, and because honestly,
It's like spirit.
when I first went there, it wasn't like that. Whenever he married Shawnee, which is Shawnee O'Neal, um, previously known as Shawnee O'Neal, now known as Shawnee Henderson. I don't have anything necessarily bad to say about her. I just think that you still have basketball wives going on. And
Oh, that's why that name sounded familiar. I used to watch
yeah.
TV back in the day.
So Shaquille O'Neal's ex-wife.
Oh, that's
Yes. So her kids went to school. Some of her kids went to school here in Houston. And then she had a child that went to school in Louisiana as well. So she wanted to move from California down south. But supposedly she had already started going to the church, being her kids had started going to school here. And I guess they met, started talking, dating. And he ends up marrying her. And so at first, that church now has a line. Like I stopped going there because he was just, y'all, it's a line outside the building. And then
yeah.
like he gets to asking during church services, like, hey, we need you guys to tithe because, this building needs to be paid for because the insurance company is not paying us for it because last year, a year before last, there was Hurricane Beryl, whenever that was, year before last. And this man is telling us that we need to help pay for the building because the insurance company is tripping. Now, I work in insurance, and
Do you?
this is exactly, I just feel like y'all need to
And
take that.
this church is in Houston on the
This church.
coast.
So he's trying to say that the building is so messed up, they're underpaying them. So they're doing a back and forth to remodel the church. Now, mind you, the building that needs to be remodeled, it's still together. They might have had, there's not even trees next to the church like that. So it's not like a tree.
They kind of trying to hit a lick. They kind of trying to hit a lick.
Where's I want to see the before photos because
They're trying to scam the congregation.
I'm not saying that's not what I said.
Okay, what I'm hearing, you're not saying it, that's fine, but what I'm hearing is they're scamming the congregation out of more money under the guise of, oh, the insurance company don't want to pay me, don't want to pay us.
Everybody else's church is up. We have to make sure that our church is up and put together. Baby, this is the whole production. Y'all got lights, camera, action in here. And we're just in the learning facility. Y'all got it set up like this. It's nice. And
Houston has a lot of mega churches. Houston's kind of like Atlanta.
It wasn't like that at first, though. I'm telling you, when he got
married, is.
That's when things changed. And he used to have such a good message. Like he was kind of on the borderline of preaching,
He probably had a higher appetite economically.
No, he definitely did. And when he started wearing designer and stuff, he was like, I think
he sounds like a Nimrod. I mean, Nimrod, his story was that he started out, wanting to communicate with God, wanting to worship God, like in all these things, and then ultimately wanted to be worshiped and kind of got caught up in the Matrix and all the things. I can remember the church where I grew up back home. I can remember the day my grandma told me to. I just got done watching me some Harry Potter, and she called me to tell me that our pastor and this pastor, now mind you, because we're such an old church, we've gone through a lot of ministers. We bring them in, go all over the country, find them, bring them here, get their resumes and everything, and then at whatever point some business, we kick them out, and then we kick them out because we don't like them. But anyways, this particular pastor, we'd had him for a long time, and he was more of a teaching pastor, very humble. I remember when he showed up at the church. I was real young when he showed up at the church in his little beat up purple Volvo, honey, and he had the wife and the kids, and they told me to be friends with the daughter and all, and all the things. So then I guess sometime down the road, he didn't. And mind you, the church that I grew up in Sacramento, any Black person who is of any affluence or influence in the city of Sacramento. Like we had people who were, school board chairs and DAs, and even my godfather was the first Black city attorney of Sacramento. But everybody anybody who was somebody went through this particular, at some point in time, was a member of this particular church. Okay, it's like the bedrock cornerstone of Black Sacramento, or was, and in its heyday. Everybody, there's been a mass exodus from the church, and people really aren't about it. But the point is that that's what happened with Nimrod. Nimrod was really bad. I'm sorry, I got off track. So my grandmother called me and told me that this particular pastor, beloved, we had him for probably the longest out of he probably lasted the longest out of anybody in my adult life. But yeah, so he was back there bending the choir director over back there in the back church back office, and it was a whole thing. And his wife had to write a letter begging to the deacon board to come and get him, to get him under control, because it was a whole.
Get him under control to do what? What was he needing to be under control of? His penis?
To stop fucking. And then at one of the business meetings, now I do remember this, at one of the business meetings, one of the women he was sleeping with, her husband stood up in the meeting and basically was like, touch my wife again, and it's me and you, sir. Like, they about to squab it out and take it to the square in the middle of the Friday night church business meeting. Okay, so these are the things I'm seeing growing up. I'm seeing, the church, one Sunday we rocking and rolling and amen and Jesus and the choir is rocking. And in the next week, we having a vote, and the pastor is out, and he taking half the congregation. And mind you, it's always the good part of the congregation that leaves. All my friends would leave. That church has split so many times. And so even the people who go to different churches now all have their roots. Every church rooted up out of Shiloh. So this is what I'm seeing growing up. But I love my Shiloh family. Don't get me wrong. Okay, don't get me wrong. The few that's left, my grandmother, my family has been a member of this church since 1965. Okay, so
yeah, my family members, they were deeply rooted on my mom's side, they're deeply rooted into Church of Christ. When my grandmother passed away, a lot of people came out that are within the denomination of Church of Christ. Like, she was well known for sure.
Yeah.
So it's was it like a tight community growing up, like with the church and stuff? Like, did you go to activities and stuff like that with church? Because I know you were raised by your
that's all I was allowed to do, like growing up. So I was at the church probably 8 days a week. The only things I was really allowed to do were church activities. So that's why I was part of the usher convention. I used to be on I participated in everything, because participating in everything meant trips here and there, and and activities and outings and socials, and that's all I had.
Did you ever date in church?
Not legally, no. Child, my grandma, when I came, I wasn't even so I left. I wasn't allowed to date, period, which is part of why I decided to graduate high school a year early. So I left for college when I was 16, right? I come back from my for like Christmas vacation, after going off to Spelman College, mind you. Okay. Off in hot Atlanta. I go back to Sacramento. I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to go out, I'm gonna be able to do me, because I'm a college. To this day, I'm not allowed to cross that street across where I live. My grandma was I was very, very, very sheltered growing up. I wasn't allowed to do, unless the church sanctioned it, or it was something. I went to a Christian school. I went to a private Christian school, so I was able to do school stuff. But like I've never been to. But when I finally went to public school, like for high school, I've never been to like a homecoming dance or prom. No, nothing like that. I went to one pajama Black Student Union pajama jammy jam when I was in maybe a 10th or 11th grade, and the only reason I was allowed to go was because at the time I was president of said Black Student Union. So no high school football games. So like,
Gotcha.
which is also why when I did get to Hotlanta, I went buck wild. So I don't sit here in judgment of anyone. I would like to just throw that out there. Uh although I am saved, saint, pure, and holy now, and spiritual, and all the things, I have had all the life
You had your
experiences.
initiation.
So
I
you
did
feel
have my initiation.
so you feel like the situation with the Jamal Bryant and his
Mhm.
wife,
Yeah.
you to circle back around to that, that means that, it's we can infer that, that you don't have a problem with what she had on. Like it's not something that disturbs you.
It's not something that disturbs me. So, and the reason, let me just clarify too, the reason for bringing this up. Part of the spiritual journey, the spiritual walk, is to be able to maintain your balance, your spiritualness, or whatever that is, even when things disturb you. So my point in bringing all of those things up is that a lot of times Christians, they claim all this Christianity and they want to holler Jesus, 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 but when something disturbs them, they immediately start throwing stones. They will start to name call. Like I said, this now all of a sudden this married, what you calling this married woman a whore, and the comments weren't any better. So of course when you put something out, like basically social media these days is like public shaming or public stoning. People can just kind of
Remind
put
you,
you
all
out
of this is
there.
still energy. This is still
Mhm.
energy that
That's a fact.
Yes.
you
That's a
don't
fact.
know her, and we can talk about that another day because that can get deep.
Yeah.
But
Right, and
that
that's kind of the
on a
point. You don't
spiritual
know
level,
her, you don't know
it's
nothing
still
about her,
energy that's being put
but you're
out.
putting all this, yeah, you're putting all this negativity out towards her and calling her a whore, and this is what a whore, like, and this is why I say that, this is part of why I say that Christians in many instances are giving Jesus a bad name,
I
because
mean,
they're doing all these
no
things in the
one.
name of Jesus, and it's not what Jesus would do.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're claiming that somebody's a whore or whatever, I guess it takes one to know one. So he probably knows about him. Maybe that's something that he's used to recognizing. Maybe he's guilty. He's admitting guilt to having a
Because you have a
guilty.
Oh,
lot of
well,
strong
let's go
energy.
back to it.
So
Hold on.
what
Let's
I'm
go back
getting,
to it, because there was something, hang on, there was
Hate and
something
love
that
are
was
act like you
are
done
the
said.
had
same
it
color.
before. Act like you done had it before. Like
Okay, so look, so let's go back into it,
that's
because
really
what was
important to me. I don't know. What do you think, Aiden? From a male perspective, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, I feel like most men that do get very outspoken and verbal about women's choices, especially when it comes to aesthetic things like clothing, or their bodies, they usually come from an insecure place.
or their
And
reproduction.
yeah, and the inability to control because they're focused on domination and or ownership versus their own finding how to support and just do you, bro. Like
Well,
who
here's the thing.
cares?
This is his problem. I'm gonna show you. It's right here. One thing he said in one of these comments: this level of public seduction is not appropriate for most people most of the time. So basically, what you're
You
saying
want
is
his
your
wife.
dick is getting
Respect.
hard and you can't control yourself. So now we want to publicly shame this woman and call her a
Can he even
whore.
pull a woman like that? Because one thing about me, I'm very much so like I like to sit in my divine feminine energy. I do try to wear things that are suitable to not be distracting to people at church. But you cannot, if you have a fat ass, you can't hide that. You can't nowhere. It doesn't matter what you wear. You can wear some loose if you have voluptuous breasts, if you have a small waist, all these different things. Like I just don't. I think that people need to have more self control, and you need to take a look at yourself before you start pointing a finger at somebody else.
Can we
I
talk
believe
about
that
the
the body.
demonization of body types and like body morphology?
You said, can I talk about it, or where is
Well,
your
I mean, that's just what it looks like because it's always this energy that a person that is built a certain way has to go out of their way to make themselves different than anybody else would, or make extra consideration for the gaze of creeps at the end of the
yeah.
day.
Like what I'm trying to say when I say that, when I said those words about women having curves and stuff like that, I feel like if this was a different type of woman, he might not have been saying that. You
Right.
know,
She
this
gets
lady is built a
extra.
certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's gonna get a certain amount of attention, hence has grabbed his attention because he feels at this point that this is seduction. When this wife, she's married. Mind you, she's married. How can
Yeah,
one be
that's
a
somebody's
whore that
wife.
is married? And that's already contradicting within itself. I don't understand that. I think that she's a very beautiful woman. And I think that if her husband had a problem with it, I'm sure it would have been addressed. If
Mhm.
you're not married to her, you
But
don't have
that's
to
the
go
thing.
home
That's
to
the
her.
thing that a lot of
Nobody's
people,
asking you.
that's your biggest red flag right there, as far as should I even pay attention to what this person is saying? Because when people don't have anything of intelligence or anything academic to say, they just result to name calling. And like I said, you sitting here talking about public seduction, you just told on yourself, sir, that you felt
Self-snitching
seduced.
at its finest.
I didn't, because my response
You
to him was
want
that I didn't feel, I
He,
wasn't
he wants
seduced.
her. He wants her. He wants
Right.
her.
And that's the
He,
thing. Usually
He
men that
mad
are
that's not his wife.
that's not your wife because I just believe that as a woman, we just because you're married or just because you're in a because what she's in is just another leadership role. That's it. It's a form of leadership because she's married to a popular pastor amongst Atlanta. She clearly has a husband. She can still be sensual and wear stuff that fits her body. I don't think it's anything wrong with that at all. But that's just me. Well, what do I know? I don't know.
And I
I
don't
just
think she's wearing this. I mean, for me, if you ask for my opinion, of course, it's not something I would wear to church on a Sunday morning. And I don't think she wore it to
I
church
don't
on
think she
Sunday
wore
morning
it.
either.
It probably was an award show,
It
a
looks like,
Christmas
yeah, it's
holiday
the
party.
holidays.
I would
Exactly.
wear
It's
that
the
for my husband.
holidays.
Yeah, I would wear that as a pastor's wife.
Um,
I'm I would never want to change who I am. I'll never want to appear holier than thou to anybody because who am I?
and
Who
who
am I
wants
to
to upkeep that? No, it's not possible. It's not sustainable. It's not
it's not,
healthy.
like look how goofy he looks.
Right, because he made a whole he spent hours. I mean, obviously we're going into this
They don't even know him.
for the benefit of society so we get less people with this, frame of mind. But I think the biggest thing, like you said, that seduction, you're always assuming intention with whenever somebody's doing something. You're assuming that she's doing it for you just because it ended up on social media. You're assuming that there is this marketing, this branding, that it has to be about anything more than just being comfortable and looking good because she looks good. So I don't if you felt that you actually look good in your skin, and whether male, female, non-binary, it doesn't matter. You would not be that critical of somebody else just being comfortable in their own skin, especially if you've gone through a phase where you weren't comfortable or other people made you feel that way. So either
and you know what? And also too, not for nothing else, it's a small and petty man that says anything about another man's wife. Just period. I'm just old school like that.
I really
any
want
woman,
to
honestly,
Any woman, like
I
you shouldn't be.
really
Well, yeah, I mean
any
that too. Yeah, you shouldn't be
any woman.
dragging, but that's just part of
right.
like
She's
that
spoken
particular
for.
post. When I woke up to that post this morning, I just had images of like Salem witch trials and burn her at the stake and
Off
send her to
with
hell
the head.
or
Yeah. The
why did
letter
you why did
A.
that
She might as well
make
put the
sense?
letter A on her. Some
Right, the Scarlet, yeah, like
Scarlet.
she's
Yeah.
Hester Prynne.
I just let me sidebar, okay? Just a
Mm.
message to all of those who may watch, and I hope that you guys zoom into and fast forward specifically to this part. Everything don't need to be talked about online. You can always keep stuff to yourself. It's okay to keep certain comments to yourself, especially if they
It's
revolve.
okay to have opinions
Yeah, it's okay to have an
without
opinion.
putting them on social media.
And I feel like that's why I don't like that setting when people saying that people say, well, if you put it online, it's for people to be able to say something. But the thing is that that's true. You can put it online,
To
but
build
at the same
energy.
time, it's the energy that people bring. Sometimes I think that people need to take a step back when they're online taking shit so serious. Like
And the thing is, you're not putting it on there to invoke any
it's not
change,
something
to support
positive.
healing or anything like that.
Like,
It's for
there's no
likes. Yeah, it's for likes, it's for attention, it's for followers, it's for people to worship you. It's to fill a void that, it's to call out somebody else because you really don't like yourself, like all of that. Really healed, high vibrational and healed people do not go around the internet dogging and dragging people for their choices.
And
right.
even if those healed people have the same opinion that you do, like you said, they keep it to them damn selves.
Yeah. And
That's
I
just
think part of, like we were saying about religion and stuff, and how you were saying you don't want to be like those people. You grew up in a church where you saw how they were reacting and you didn't want to be like those people. And I even said something similar to that by saying, hey, I didn't necessarily have all these bad experiences, but I did see some people go through certain things and get talked about and get mistreated. And maybe they did talk about it, mistreat me, and my ass has just been vibrating so high, I just never noticed, So, but I say all that to say that it's contradicting against the core foundation in belief that Christians are supposed to obtain and hold, and to include good baby Jesus. Not you called on Jesus to talk down on somebody.
that's how he ended the message. He didn't
That's how
say,
he ended it.
And they put it in, and it's usually done under the guise of, oh, Jesus wouldn't like this. Oh, this is against whatever.
but you
But
have to point at yourself at the same time.
Because, like you said, this is seduction. Says who? I knew I wasn't seduced at all. Then she
I
just
wasn't seduced. I wasn't seduced, and I've dated women. I dated men and women. I wasn't seduced at all.
Right. It's
Aiden.
crazy.
And guess what? I wouldn't have even known about it. I wouldn't have even put any energy towards it. I wouldn't have even thought about it or directed any energy that way had you not posted it on social media and
Right.
called my attention
I
to it.
never even would have saw it. This is my first time even seeing this, and he's probably older than me and stuck on Facebook more than I am.
Right.
But
Yeah, he's one of those people that constantly post left. I don't know what he is these days, but
he has time.
constantly posts about the things that are going on, and
Is he married?
Feels the need to have an opinion.
yeah,
And not just
Kim,
an opinion, but to create.
he's married. I think this is his maybe second marriage, second or third.
and his wife is okay with him posting about
So
it.
I don't know. I can't speak about that lady. I don't know his
Do
wife.
you think, based on how he talks about
I
women, do you
did
think
used
he
to work
would
with him
take
though
her
in
account?
I did used to work with him in real estate. Go ahead.
What was he gonna say?
I was gonna say, based on the way he's speaking about women, do you think he would actually care what she said?
No.
No.
Do you think
Probably
that's a
not.
foundation and a core principle of that man's,
Oh, he doesn't care what anybody says, and that's fine. And that's fine. Like I that's one of the things I can respect about him. I mean, hey, stand on business, stand on whatever you standing on,
yeah,
stand on it.
for
Okay,
sure.
stand on it strong, so that way, when you have bad karma and things like that, there's no confusion as to what your intention was. But stand on it. But no, I don't think that he just an intuitive read, and I don't want to get into I don't think it's appropriate to really get into uh too
Character
much.
analysis.
My intuitive read is that there's some mommy issues there. I don't, but he's a very intelligent person. He's, as far as
Because
IQ
he knows
and
what he's doing with this message as well, because
cognitive abilities,
he has an
yes.
agenda with this
However,
post. And
yeah,
so
but yeah.
that's the thing we're trying to break down as well. We're not even we really couldn't care less what the woman has on. The fact that you can speak about her, I don't care if she was at the strip club on a Thursday night. It doesn't
And and
matter.
this goes back to like what we were talking about in a previous podcast, the Charlie Kirk podcast, where all these people, when as soon as that man died, like all these people just started just like going in. And only reason I really even caught wind of it is because he happened to die on my birthday, and that was the day I was online, and
Yeah.
happened to see some stuff. I
Yeah.
never even heard of this man before. I think half the people commenting probably had never even heard of him before.
It's an
But the
energy
point
dump.
is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Charlie Kirk has done. It doesn't matter what Marilyn Manson or any other serial killers or uh people hating masculinity have done. What matters is what you are doing and the energy you are putting out towards these people. Like nobody cared.
Fighting fire with fire.
The universe is not going to excuse you from your karma because, oh, because they agree with you that
You feel
so
like you
and
were the
so
Justice
deserved,
League.
yeah, deserved XYZ, and you're
You
part of the, yeah,
Batman,
the Universal Justice League. No, you're not. Nobody asked you
Captain
for your
Saver.
help. Nobody asked you to dispense karma to anyone. Your job is to focus on you, your healing, your output. So all these people who get on these social media and get on these bandwagons, and one of another really really bad one right now. Um, where is the photo, child? Um, Another really bad one right now is Nicki Minaj. See if you can. Let me see if I can pull that photo up. They are dragging that baby girl so bad. The whole culture or cult, as I call it, and and I'll take this moment to remind everyone that the only difference between a cult and a culture is size. So this cult like activity, where as soon as somebody decides that someone's going to get canceled, they're canceled. And so Nicki, and I haven't followed all of the things that she has done or said because quite frankly, it doesn't matter to my life or anything I have going on other than this podcast.
I mean, the thing is, she's came out of
Uh,
she's going right wing. She's
uh-huh.
going MAGA. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's more the conversation, and the
So she's
dragging of
going
her is that
MAGA.
she's yeah.
Is full of people with heart
I
and
guess I can start from
soul and admiration for our president. He has, I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys and to win and to do it with your head held high and your integrity intact. This administration is full of people with
Shit.
heart and soul. And they make me proud of them.
I like that.
Our vice president, he
I
makes
don't even know who
me,
our vice president
well,
is. What's his name?
I love both of them, but they're both powerful men, smart, strong, all of that, but both of them have a very uncanny ability to be someone that you relate to. I can relate to them. When I hear them speak, I know that they're one of us. Like, I know that they're not. Don't you guys agree?
No, we don't agree. So I think that is what the internet is up in a rage about. And so they put that picture there to say it's fitting with what she's saying. Because she
So
clearly has a script.
the picture was coonery on
Yes.
her,
Makes
not
sense.
that.
Makes sense. Gotcha. Hmm.
And the conspiracy is that now because we know that she's an immigrant, if she pledges her allegiance, then she's more useful to keep than to because they're getting rid of black celebrities, left and right. They don't really care. Especially like, TikTokers and politicians, you know what I'm saying? Especially, oh yeah, you can get up out of here. I think there was a mayor in New Jersey that was running about, not a mayor, but a candidate running last year that got arrested. He didn't get deported, but yeah, he had all this documentation. But yeah, it's happening all the time, and so she has leverage. She has a platform that she can
You
that
know
she can
what's
pull.
interesting about that clip is she sounded really sincere.
Well, she doesn't sound any different than I've
Is that
ever
how
heard
she
her
normally
talk.
sound?
That's how she has this really slow
You're right.
cadence.
She does have a slow
She
cadence.
has a slow cadence where it feels like she's being genuine because she's trying to pull
Okay.
the thoughts up from out of her ass. And
You said it's
so,
a fraud alert. You said it's
For
a fraud
sure.
alert. Huh?
yeah, it takes time to lie, and it takes time to hold that poker face, um, with, not anything against makeup, but a pound full of makeup, not only physically, but spiritually and mentally. Like you have to go into a certain space to stand up in front of people, even if you have good intentions. to be on camera and to proclaim things and to send energy out. Because once you say something, you hear that crowd, you hear all those people. You're that post had 1 million or 5 million views. Everything else had like 100,000. You know what I'm saying? But that's because it's Nicki Minaj. She represents
Tough.
part of the
That was
culture.
tough.
Yeah. And when you have a person of color coming up there, to either join the administration, I think Eric Adams, former mayor of New York, his fraud ass, he's joining the administration. Mamdani came and replaced him. So, I think it's always a spectacle. And so they have to, you're not just going to make a regular statement. It's going to be a whole production. And that's kind of the same thing we were saying about church. All these things have to be a larger than life. That's how you draw people in and make them not second guess whatever you're telling them. And so it's easier when you're in a position of power. And social media is now limiting or making that power almost limitless because you can get some people to follow you if you go hard enough. Especially if you speak to their either insecurities, weaknesses, or fears. Those are the main three. That's what advertising does. That's what marketing does. And so it's the same thing. Everybody, that's the thing when they tell you on YouTube, you got to find your niche. You got to find your people. It doesn't necessarily have to be a negative, but when you're pulling people for political or any type of that rage bait emotional content, that's the whole purpose. And so she's not saying anything radical. She's not saying
so
anything.
instead of clickbait is rage bait.
Rage bait is a form. Rage bait can be in real life. Clickbait is specific to the internet, but rage bait and clickbait are like the same thing, basically. Good clickbait usually includes rage bait built in. So
all right, Nicki. Well, like I said, for whatever reason she's doing it or saying it, I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like, we've got this cancel culture. A person should be able to say what they feel or support or, believe what they want to believe. But on the flip side, people also have the right to support who they want to support. So
right.
I just want to know.
People feel a way about anybody picking a side. That's why most people just stay quiet.
I personally want to know why. Like, what does she have in common with them?
ICE.
I think that
he controls immigration in this country.
I look at it like go home. Anybody that's made it. The thing is, Trump made it in this system. So anybody that figured out a way to make it, they don't necessarily want it to change. There's not a lot of people that quote unquote make it in whatever area to where they're usually in a very small percentage. They usually don't want it to change because they realize that it's kind of needs to be that way for there to be this large accumulation of wealth. And so I don't know. I mean, I just look at it like these are the people in control right now. There's a lot of people that didn't have a lot of things in
play the clip again. Let me hear that again. What did she say again?
She didn't say nothing. All she said was the vice president.
It's just leaving me kind of. I just was not expecting that.
But that's how
Nick, the vice president.
You're gonna be confused because, like he said, I'm not even gonna lie, and I love Nicki. Don't get me wrong. It's just he's not for music purposes, and I'm kind of disappointed in the way she talks altogether because I quoted her music before, and to me, her verbiage sounds like she might be intelligent the way she's able to, bring certain words together.
Anybody that's a rapper,
no. What's her name? No. What's her name? Ghostwrites for her. What's that guy that was on Love and Hip Hop?
Ferrari.
No, he had
Safari. I think his name's Safari.
Safari's the intelligent one, and the way she raps, it's exactly the way he.
She's a great performer, though. That's the thing. Nicki has always gotten.
Because
I mean, as far as performing the raps, I'm not saying performing like performances,
the stage wise.
Yeah, like some people, you can make good music, but you can't really rap in the way that she's able to go really fast, and that's kind of part of the appearance of a artist. She has to have a lot of
sound. She has a sound.
This is what goes back to when I said that a lot of things don't need to be commented on. If I was Nicki and I knew I was over here illegally, I just wouldn't say shit.
Well, I don't think I don't know what she has said about that, but I would just definitely stay under the radar. But if you remember,
that's what I'm saying. I would stay
if you recall, the only thing I remember, so Nicki Minaj she kind of looks like a regular person now. Okay. But I recall when she first came on the scene, her whole image was clownery. She was always in some bubble suit or some bubble makeup. Like I don't know what,
It was.
I don't know why they did. I don't know why they did that to her, but
Am I wrong for liking it? I like it.
no, you're not wrong.
I was a kid though when she
I
came
think
out.
there's nothing wrong with being fans of an image and a character. Like that's like Nicki Minaj is a character. Like she's a person underneath that. And so what we're judging is the
Correct.
character
Came
specifically.
out as a character
Correct. Gotcha.
and not a person. So I don't think she's ever really been
I mean,
given.
she has a husband that's been accused of.
He has a husband.
SA, yeah, he's a graper.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a raping person. Like he's supposed
Raper.
to.
Graper,
Yeah.
graper is how we don't get canceled. Graper. Yeah.
Like unalived.
No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
Like
just
you have
code.
to say other code words. Okay. Well, that's why we're here. We're decoding the matrix. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they messing
So
with
he's a graper.
kids. Yeah, all type of
Yeah,
stuff.
like he had some type of case, and I think that's part of the reason like she was into it with Cardi, because Cardi was like calling her out on it, you know. And her
Like Drake,
husband,
like how what's it called? It was calling out Jake.
yeah, no, she was accused, like they was like, you're married to a man that rapes people. Like
Yeah. And everybody kind of knows. I mean, there's law, there's federal, not federal. I don't know if it's federal,
no,
but
I saw the actual documents. They
yeah, there's
was like,
documents. Yeah, I mean, it's
and
kinda,
it had a specific date. It wasn't any, it was like in the 2000s or whatever, something like that. It wasn't, you know, as of recent, but it was like, it was definitely a case. Like he was in prison. I think that's why they went together. He went to jail. Like she knew him from childhood, and I think he went away for prison or something. And
They said
then
I saw something about her brother too, but and that's the thing too. Like when stuff like this happens, when a person like, why we gotta drag her husband, why we gotta drag her brother, why we gotta drag all these, and that's the part of the culture that I feel like is extremely inappropriate. Like it's fine if you don't want to support someone anymore, but why do you have to contribute to
I think
their
because
downfall? Like you like some people take it upon themselves, they want to take them down kind of thing.
that goes back to what I was saying about everybody doesn't have to state their opinion on the internet, because this is all still frequency. It's all still energy.
Because then it's not just opinion, because we talked about that in another, and I think in the Charlie Kirk video about the dark karma of social media. It's not just opinion you're putting out. A lot of people think that, oh, because I don't know this person, I can talk all this shit about this person on my page. Oh, it's never going to get to, they're never going to hear. No, yeah,
yeah.
they're feeling it all. You're sending that energy
And the
towards
difference
that
is,
person, and you're getting all your friends and buddies and followers and your little cronies to come in and agree and co-sign and yeah, when they weren't even thinking about that person until you put them on center stage, put them up there, and basically put them on the chopping block for everybody to start hurling their energetic sticks
And
and
that's
stones.
still negative energy. That's still a form of a sin that, you know, religious people would, you know, try to mention. It's just in a different way. And I feel like a lot of that is being disguised. A lot of this starts from childhood wounds. A lot of people were bullies, and people don't grow up. They just, you know, become adults, and the internet is a way of an escapism, you know, for people to get online, to speak their minds, and to be negative. But, you know, if somebody pulled up on them, you know,
And they think that they can do this without repercussion, or they think that they
correct,
can sneak
correct.
and do it, or like throw these stones and hide their hands, but they don't realize that energetically
It's
this is
also a form of
worse.
delusion. It's also a form of delusion, because who
Mhm.
are you to think that you know someone in their day-to-day life, and we don't have any access to these people or their
To be
personality?
judging them,
For all
yeah.
we know, she could be an NPC too. For all we know, we don't know, you know? And y'all are taking your time and your energy out when you could have been putting that back towards your family, your kids, your baseboards, I don't know, your dishes that are in
heavy
the,
on them baseboards.
you know, heavy on the base.
Clean your,
But
she said
I
clean
mean,
your baseboards.
yeah, because we got all this free time. Let's clean the baseboards and light fixtures. Like that's what we can do.
Clean
Yeah.
your fan
I
blades as
gotta post
well.
that.
Let me see your
That's
fan
gonna be part
blades.
of, that's gonna be a
Yeah.
post. Like me, well, y'all need to go clean y'all baseboards
Clean the
and leave
baseboards.
posts
Don't
on it.
forget about the light fixtures. and
But
your
yeah,
walls.
baseboards and ceiling fans and
Go get air
shut
purifier.
and
Because and this
STFU.
needs to be put out there, because even in my own family, I've seen people be able to sit around and talk negatively, and nobody puts it in the perspective of, oh, maybe you might be a little special to be concerned about somebody else and not concerned about your own. Do you even love yourself at this point? Are they running your show, or are you running your show?
Right. And the
Who's like,
purpose of us being here is because we're concerned about the people. So we're trying to use these things that y'all care about to bring
right?
it back to focusing on you. So every time you see something in one of these headlines, think about how does this make me feel? And think about what would it make me feel if I return that energy back out into the world.
Because we're all a collective.
Exactly.
We're all a collective. So what you input into yourself and what you give out, that helps the collective all together. So if you're putting out
Or
negative,
hurts. It helps or
yeah,
hurts
it hurts
depending
or
on what you're
hurts,
putting out.
and that's
Mhm.
also a reflection of whatever you have on the inside. But I think that people need to be aware, and they're not made aware that that's lame.
Because it's becoming the norm as well. I think back in the day, and I can only
Becoming a
speak for,
norm.
yeah.
And just like we just broke it down and we're all in agreement on it, a lot of people don't think that way. They're just losers. I'm convinced.
Right. And regardless of how I feel about the people that
Well, we don't like to name call
that we
here at
may
the
talk
Private
about.
Private.
No,
We try
I
not to
just
call people names. We're all on a
listen.
journey.
This is the type of shame that needs to be put out there, because you're doing so. I'm not hurting the community. I'm helping you out.
Girl, we was just talking the other day about
We
they
need
need to bring
diverse
back like
training methods.
public shaming and
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me telling people to mind
legitimate.
their business, I'm helping you.
Legitimate.
I'm helping you. I low-key gave you the key to getting some more money. And I'm helping you clean your house because I set the baseboards.
Well, but when you start doing this public shaming, so this is, I guess, a good segue into public shaming, whistleblowing, all the things. So it started out with the Epstein stuff. Started out with the Epstein stuff, then Diddy, now it's Seven Exposure. Now Cat Williams is out there on the prowl, and it's just like there's a lot of the industry and the whole, all these things are industries, the religious
I
industry,
think
the
what you're
music
I think
industry,
what I wanted to say was
everything's industry, and it's like now everybody's pointing fingers. Everyone's got to make their statements to CYA. It's about to blow up. What were you gonna say,
we
brother?
went from a very hush hush way of being to a very I know this about you, I know this about you. And so there's everybody has a little bit of something on
Everybody need to keep
somebody.
their mouth
And that's
closed.
what's keep
I don't think that like, is it not good that this is being exposed?
this is great. This is great.
This will be like, how we're saying, how you
amazing.
guys were saying, let's not
Because shit runs downhill.
or right. I agree. And the truth, I'm a firm believer in the truth. If I am not aware of something cognitively of what I'm doing and action that I'm taking, I would like for somebody to say something. Maybe I might watch something, because I've had that happen. I've caught myself being negative to somebody before. I had a comment about a girl when
We've
I
all
was
done it.
in college, and karma came right back to my ass. It wasn't even like bad karma. It was more like a slap in the face. Like I had said something about a girl, and you know what? I didn't even have bad intentions about it. I'm gonna give this as an example. Sorry, y'all, just real quick. So I was in college. It was a girl that I went to high school with, and the girl, she ended up getting pregnant. And this is me being vulnerable and opening up about this. And so she got pregnant in college, and I came from like raised in the church. So I'm like, oh, I'm not pregnant, my parents.
You kind of look down on her because she had
Holier
gotten
than
pregnant.
thou.
I didn't even know I was doing it that way though. I didn't know.
You didn't realize that what you were doing was that.
Yeah, because I don't think my intentions was that, but I was talking. What it was I was.
It was
in the
part of your
library.
programming.
Yeah, I was in the library and I was talking to one of my girlfriends about it, and at the time, and one of the girl who I was talking about who got pregnant, she told me in confidence. This is when I was 18. She told me in confidence this, and I told somebody else in the library in a whole nother different setting. Why was somebody overhearing me talk that was her friend and came over and said, "Oh, you're talking about my friend." Mind you, I didn't say the girl's name, but because she knows that she's pregnant and we're in college, this is our freshman year, you know, she picked up on who I was talking about and came over and checked my ass and said, "Hey, you're talking about my friend." You know, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was a huge lesson.
And like you said, it was swift. You're a high level, I recognize you as a high level spiritual being. And oftentimes our karma is more swift. Our energy, even some of the things that we think are small things are magnified to a degree that we don't realize as light workers and channels of the highest.
But if I say all that to say that if somebody didn't come back and show me that and call me out on that, you're basically shaming me and saying, "Hey, how dare you claim that this girl is your friend or somebody that you're associated with or know," and you're coming back and telling the girl don't even know the other girl. So I really should have never even been telling her in the first place. That's what I mean when I say we have to call out lame behavior. That was lame of me to say some shit like that, because that could have very well been me. I had a boyfriend at the time, so I could have definitely been pregnant.
And that's the thing too, with sometimes with putting stuff out there. Sometimes when someone tells us a secret, and we promise to keep it a secret, we think that, oh, if we tell a person that doesn't know them, it's not the same as breaking that secret, or you know what I'm saying, or gossiping, or it doesn't have the same impact, but it does. And a lot of times it has, and this is a really great testimony from you, because a lot of times the things we're doing have a greater impact than we ever will realize. You never know who's overhearing, who's listening, who saw you, who's, or who's impacted by, what it is that you're doing. And the one thing about all of this is that karma sees all. Okay. Karma, the all, the higher, the whatever spiritual forces you identify with, sees and records everything you do. It's just like the Google. It's like the Akashic Records records everything, even those times when you're by yourself, fussing and coming. I know I done cussed out my spirit guides a few times, and all that stuff is
It's
written
on
down. All
record.
that stuff is recorded. It's all on record. Every energy, that's why the Bible tries to tell us, like when they say, "As a man thinketh, so as he does," it's because it's the same thing. When you're thinking things, you're sending that vibrational frequency and that energy out into the ether. It doesn't matter whether you've done it. You may as well go do it if that's the thing. So my friend Michael, you getting enticed by the pastor's wife, you may as well, don't get mad. You may as well be.
You've proclaimed it. And
But
that's the thing I
anyway,
wanted
I
to
think,
end on too, as far as safety, as far as having a decent reputation for yourself. Your digital footprint is a real thing. It never goes away, no matter what account gets deleted, no matter what happens. You see how Elon could just buy up, you know what I'm saying? Somebody could just buy up whatever media company that has all your data. If you think that, your stuff can just be hidden, yeah, you may not have a stalker that wants to lurk and find out all the negative stuff you said. But if somebody really wants to, if the forces that, because that's what y'all care about. Y'all don't care about spiritual karma and all that. Y'all care about getting fired, getting, canceled, not being able to get your bag. And so if that's what you're worried about, please understand that the stuff you put out there, even if it's from a burner account, IP addresses, all these things. And so,
and on an energetic level, all that stuff is recorded.
right.
Everything,
Facts.
every bit in it is like
But
like
people
when they
forget
say
because we spend so much time
EKG.
on media that there's not
Yeah.
a record of this stuff. And a lot of this stuff is illegal, especially making
People can
accusations about
sue
people.
you.
Hmm.
When I start making more money, I'm gonna just sue everybody hating. Make me richer.
Well, I would like to very, very humbly thank the princess for joining us today. It has been a pleasure having you here. We would love to have you back on future episodes whenever
Fit
you'd
right
like to
in.
return.
Yes.
And
We had a
we
good
are
feeling
going
about this one, for sure.
yeah, I said this was going to be a good episode.
The energy was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry for my
So,
blunt mouth, y'all. Like, I'm gonna give it to you raw.
That's
If
what we
I feel
need.
like it's
We
lame,
That's what we do here. So no apologies. We hashtag normalize truth. So
Yeah,
whether it's painful, whether it's ugly, pretty, painful, whatever, as long as it's truth, it is welcome here.
Respectfully.
Thank y'all for having me. My first podcast. Next time I'm gonna have better production.
Next time we'll all be in the same place. We'll have a panel. We'll all be in the same place. But all right, we're gonna let everybody go. Give you your day back, as they love to say in the Matrix. We're gonna give you your day back. And I have some more
because you don't own it. Because you don't own it.
You don't. You don't own your day, your job. They say that my Matrix sponsor likes to say that a lot when they force you into meetings that could be emails. We're gonna give you your day then. All right.
To the next episode.
Love you guys. Love your show. Light and love to everybody. Thank you.